Welcome back, everyone. We're going to continue the Football Summit programme now, and I'm delighted to welcome to the stage Tottenham Hotspur CTO Sanjeev Katwa. Before we chat, though, we're going to see how Spurs has transformed as a football club since moving to this new stadium, including how they engage fans on a match day. Let's see the video, please. To do is indeed to dare. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today, Sanjeev. I've not actually asked if you're a Spurs fan, so we'll come back to that just in case you're a Gooner. We're sat here in what is widely considered to be one of the most technologically advanced sporting arenas in Europe, if not perhaps the world. In terms of the technology that you've deployed here, what are the highlights? What are the things that stand out for you?
Well, first of all, thank you, everybody, for attending today and coming to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's great to see so many people in person attend an event, which is great. So we opened up in April 2019. We were slightly delayed by a few months. So we've never really had a full season here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So this is our first full season for 21-22. You know, when we opened up in 19, I think a lot of people obviously looked around and looked at our facilities and they looked at, well, what are we doing? What are we changing in terms of, I would say, sport? What are we doing to be a media house? What are we doing to create an incredible fan experience? I think there's a couple of key highlights. You know, when we opened up in 19, we were, I would say, the first cashless stadium in the world. Right now, everybody's pretty much cashless because of COVID. But we didn't have sort of an inside loyalty scheme or any of that stuff. We just took, your Visa, your MasterCard, Amex, and, we have about 1,000 POS units. So we have 1,000 places to pay. So we have a lot of places where you can transact with us in this venue. The second thing I would say is we are really a true digital stadium in that respect. We're so network dependent. So, I'm not sort of a broadcast content guy. I do have a background in broadcast. But, from a technology perspective, we are so network dependent, and we work with a really good partner in Hewlett-Packard Enterprise for that. So as a result, we have 100% Wi-Fi in the stadium. You guys are probably using the Wi-Fi. Those tech geeks that are here have probably done speed tests and seen how quick it is and all that sort of stuff. And we also have all 4 mobile operators in this building. So unlike a lot of the other venues, i.e., Wembley connected by EE, Twickenham with O2, obviously Chelsea with 3 at the moment, we are sort of all 4 mobile operators. And one of the reasons why we went for that is our chairman was very keen to ensure we had a great fan experience for every customer. So you have a very well-connected experience at this venue. COVID accelerated one other thing for us, which was digital ticketing. So we are 100% digital ticketing, apart from the away fans. You can imagine what we did to try and get fans back into our venue. We just opened up, and next minute, you know, we had to close down. And so we were desperate to get people back in. So we really did push people like the Premier League to try and DCMS and all these guys to say, you know, let's show you what it means to go digital in terms of cashless and digital experiences. Obviously, all of you guys are here to attend a summit about broadcast content, etc. So really proud about the video gallery. For some of you who may have gone on the tour, you may have seen it on the other side. Our video gallery controls all the content that we have here at the venue. So, you know, we have 4 jumbo screens, of course. There's 1,000 square meters of signage. We have ribbon technology. We have obviously incredible PA system here as well. We have about 1,800 screens in this venue that can all have different content, all different shapes and sizes. So we have lots and lots of tech here. But ultimately, a lot of this stuff is to support that experience, be that whether you're coming here for a conference or whether you're part of over 60,000 people coming to watch a football match, NFL, and this summer, of course, we have a bunch of concerts as well. So it truly is a multi-purpose venue, and it's been built that way. I think you saw an image on the video about the sliding pitch. And I'm sure the tour guides will have spoken to you about the pitch and what that means. And if anything, I think that, for me, that is the most technological thing we have in this venue, is how we split the pitch in sort of 30 minutes or whatever, and it's got another surface underneath.
You mentioned the video gallery and also the big screens, etc. You do produce your own content. Tell us a little bit about that. So, do you have a team of people? What content do you create, and to what end do you create that content?
Yeah, so the content that we create, that comes under our media director, Pierre, who may be in the crowd somewhere. I did see him earlier on. So the media team here look after producing all the sort of Spurs TV in-house content. We've accelerated that since the Amazon show that we had 2 years ago, whatever, when Jose was the manager. And we are now doing quite a lot of work, obviously in-house, in terms of either short-form content or what are we going to do in terms of that long-form. So we announced about a week ago, I think 2 weeks ago, Spurs Play. So Spurs Play will be our OTT platform, video on demand. So we're doing a lot of work on that, and that will be launched in the next couple of months. So the team is quite large, or it's getting bigger, probably not comparable to the likes of maybe United or City, for example. But we are getting bigger as a group. They're creating some great content. But I think you get great content through who you have in terms of your assets, right? So we're probably quite lucky. You've got players like Son, who's he's good entertainment. He's got a good following, obviously, in Korea. I think Antonio Conte is pretty much box office.
Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment with him. And then you've got some other players who are sort of obviously very good in terms of the content. But a lot of the content is very much going to be what the players can offer us. And then obviously our Spurs Play will look at some of the old sort of historical stuff at Tottenham Hotspur too.
You sort of touched on it already, but one of the themes of our event is sort of fan engagement, and also there's lots of cool ways to connect with fans now. What's sort of top of your mind at Spurs and for your team as far as making that engagement with the supporters?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously two key aspects of that. First of all is obviously around the fan engagement we have at the venue, right, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So we've got to, I would say, change things around a bit. And I think with Pierre turning up and in the role he has and his team, we'll change the content. I think some of you may have watched the game on Monday night and the what we did for the people of Ukraine and how we lit up the stadium, externally, and what we did in terms of content was really touching. But we've had NFL here, right? So when NFL come to town, if anything, for me, the NFL really set the bar high. What they do and what they do in US sport is, I still believe, a lot better than what we do, obviously, here in the UK. But what the NFL have done here at this venue sort of shows that our technology can actually reach those levels that the NFL actually show. So, of course, in stadia, and what we do in stadia is really, really important to us. That's That's really key. It's the holy grail, right, for the fans to come here and watch sport and be entertained and have a great experience. And then obviously you got the fans who are watching and following your team around the world, and how they engage with you, be that via your app or via social channels. And then you've got the world of what's coming up next, right? The metaverse and all those wonderful things, which I really still trying to get my head around what that actually all is. But that's going to be really, really important. I know a lot of people are looking at the virtual stadium, of course. We've already done sort of virtual venue with Ticketmaster. So when you buy a ticket or you want to see where you're sitting, we've already got that within with our own sort of infrastructure. But I think the digital stadium is quite a key thing. How you can commercialize that obviously is going to be very important too. But we've done a lot of work behind the scenes to get ready for, I would say, the next stage of evolution. So, we're doing quite a lot of investment in our marketing stack. And the tools that we use to market to fans and the information that we've got on them, and how we sort of look at personalized experiences too. So there's quite a lot of things that you've got to do, not just in the so-called digital space and the content space. Is what are we going to do for people, I would say, here, near and far. So those who come to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, those who are in the UK or in London, who are fans of Tottenham Hotspur, and then obviously those that not only follow Tottenham Hotspur globally, but also follow the Premier League. I'd be really interested to see what obviously the broadcasters do. I've really admired what BT Sport and Sky have done for years in terms of their mobile experience. I watched the Real Madrid PSG game last night, which I'm sure some of you also watched. I didn't watch it on a television, watched it on my iPad, and had all the sort of enhanced stuff. And I think that's really, really interesting to see how, especially those two key players in the market have, I would say, transformed how you consume content.
This wasn't on our list of questions, but could you see any of those applications that you were seeing at a broadcast level introduced in Stadia?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the technology, I would say, infrastructure to do that. So we can do in-game streaming, in-game analysis. We can do all those sort of things. And we have that infrastructure already in place. We had that when we opened up the stadium. What you find, though, is that from a behavioral perspective, when fans are coming in the venue, the older lot like me, we just want to watch the football match, right? The younger guys, I think, are really happy to have a second screen and look at stuff. So Monday night was a really good example. Spurs won 5-0. Harry Kane scored a goal. I think it was his first goal. Everybody thought it was offside in the venue. Fortunately for me, I had my Sky Go on at the time. There's about a minute and a half latency, and I clearly saw that he was onside. You can imagine all the guys behind me were like, God, how did you do that?
Were you celebrating by yourself?
No, I wasn't celebrating at all. I'm not a Spurs fan.
Oh, we found out. We got there in the end. We got there in the end.
I'm very happy, of course, when Tottenham Hotspur win matches, because ultimately, they pay my salary and they allow us to do some great stuff, but I am not a Spurs fan.
Who do you support?
I'm a Liverpool fan. Oh. But I'm a Liverpool fan who used to work at Manchester City. And now, so we sort of, you don't change your team because of who you work for.
Absolutely right. True story. Sanjeev, we've run out of time. We were going to talk about Liverpool, but we won't. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Really appreciate it. Please thank Sanjeev for his time.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.